Woo!
He's not very good at it.
That one's for free.
Woo! Let's go!
All right, I know he loves it, but he gets a little excited about it, right? And he goes a little bit overboard.
A little bit? Dude, last Christmas, he made me put it in his house, raise him up to the top of his tree, just to put a star on it. No big deal. It's a 3-foot tree.
Oh.
It was a 3-foot tree.
That's bad. That's bad. He asked me for a file the other day in my filing cabinet. He had me drive it in here around the counter. I couldn't even open the drawer with my hand. He got on to me. He yelled at me and told me to do it with the fork.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everything. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Which we probably never will.
No.
We can't get inside his head.
We need to get him some help.
What are you guys talking about?
Hey,
just talking about Blake.
yeah.
Like Hawthorn?
Yeah.
Our fearless leader, right?
Yeah.
He loves the mini skid steer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
I work in the office and I've had to drive the thing. We'll be on a job site. He'll be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you go drive this mini skid steer for me? I'm like, well, what do you need me to get? Run to Taco Bell, Justin. Go grab me a grill stuffed burrito. He always gets a quesadilla. Have you ever gone through the drive-thru on a mini skid steer?
They don't like it probably.
Actually, it wasn't all that bad. But the fact that he asked me to do that, is just unbelievable.
I think wasn't he sitting in the lawn chair watching you do everything?
Yes.
I had the fan in my hand. I remember I was
That's
there
right.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Blake.
I was
Nice,
actually running to the
dude.
store for grapes at the time. I missed it, but
You know,
I
you
heard about it.
did miss what happened there.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was,
all in all, I would say Blake's really a great guy.
Yeah.
He's
Love
Yes.
working for him.
Great guy.
Yes.
You
I
know,
appreciate that, dude. You're awesome. What are y'all up to?
Nothing? Nothing.
Big day?
Absolutely
We got big
nothing.
plans? I got big plans for today. Y'all got big plans for today?
yes, always.
Business
Yes.
as usual, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Let's do big things.
Big
Yeah.
things. Seriously, I mean, his
We need to give him some help.
Dr. Phil, Oprah, somebody needs
I know
help.
what to do. Look, I'm gonna go polish the skid steer. He told me to get my toothbrush out and clean the tracks again.
Hey, make sure you air these tracks up.
Should I stand on this? No, we should Captain Morgan it.
I don't know if you can get your leg that high.
These are Wranglers.
So are these.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the little bit of comedy we had at the front of this video. We had a lot of fun making it, but we want to get serious for a minute. We want to talk to you about the pros and cons of the Ditch Witch SK752. I got my main man Jeremy here. He's been running the machine for about 1.5 years. How many hours you got on the machine?
Oh, about 600.
600 hours that he has on this machine. Most of it's at one job site. Yeah, we had a really big pool project that we did this summer, and he did everything with these attachments here on the job site, moved all the block. I think it was 3,000 square foot of walls. What was it, 200 or 300 ton of dirt that he moved around, all with this machine. I'm telling you guys, it's a lifesaver. Tell me a little bit about it. I mean, you've been with us, you've operated with wheelbarrows, with the tractor, now with this machine. Like, you know, unscripted, tell me a little bit about why you like the machine, and you know, if you like it. I don't know, I've never asked you. If you like the machine, and then what it is about it that you do like or don't like.
Well, I love it. It's replaced 2 or 3 hands easily. The dirt that I can move with it and rock and gravel, mulch, anything you've got in front of me, I can move it a third of the time. Not a problem.
Yeah. So we were on a job site. The first one we got, we did a rental on it. Remember? I showed up with a stopwatch.
Right.
And, yeah. So Jeremy he's scooping it with scooping the dirt with the machine, and I'm timing him how long it takes him to get from there over. And so I said, all right, now we're going to see how much our bucket will hold compared to a wheelbarrow. And so it held about 1.5 wheelbarrows. So average man could probably handle a wheelbarrow 3/4 full, comfortably up the hill and over to the job. So we thought, okay, 2 wheelbarrows, and we timed ourselves. It took you like 55 seconds on average. Sometimes he was killing it 40 seconds, other times it was like a minute to 5. But on average, about 55 seconds it was taking him to scoop the dirt, take it about 60, 70 feet over to where we were building a patio space, which is the only machine that could have got to it, and then coming back for it. So right there alone, it kind of proved itself. Because, Sean, he was working on the patio, knocking out the fire pit, and you were just moving material the whole time. So
The whole time.
yeah. What else about it? I mean, it's besides, replacing a few hands and stuff.
The size of it. It's got a lot of power for the size. You can get any material you need into tight spots where big machines cannot get to.
Yeah, Mike, he actually, on that pool project, Mike created some switchbacks, and we were able to stage all the dirt on the job site, scoop it up, and put it over there. Most job sites, we would have worked ourselves out of that, and I don't know how we would have got the dirt in.
Exactly.
So, I mean, my personal opinion is I don't think we could have got that job done without this.
No.
Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. There's no way we could have got it done.
Absolutely. So, a little bit more about it. Let's see. I mean, I like the versatility of it with all the attachments.
Of course, yes. We have 4 attachments here,
Right.
but there's a book full of them.
Yeah, we've looked through them together. We did a little bit of collective thinking and what we were going to purchase, and so we've looked through, the magazines and the articles, and we've done a lot of research on different attachments. And best thing for the buck, we have a pretty good selection here. Let's see what else we got. Talk about some cons.
Some cons.
When you talk about a few of the cons of having this machine, I'd say one is the weight that it handles. It's always
Correct.
a little aggravating if we do have a job where we can't get the sod, to it with like the piggyback on the truck or like our skid steer, then we're having to offload maybe down to like a half or a third of a pallet before we're
yes,
able to move
easily.
it. So that is one con. It doesn't handle the weight as well as some of our bigger machines, but that's the thing about it being compact. They do have a few models, up to I think it's like a 1020 model, 1080 model, that do handle weight a whole lot better. Also, another con I would say to it is I think putting 200 something hours on it, you're talking about your back hurting at the end of that project. It's not the most comfortable because you are standing up versus sitting down. And, probably 6-8 hours of the day, you're on the back of that machine moving it around.
Oh yeah.
So, there are a few cons to it. We don't want to say there's not. Another frustration that we had on the job site was the tracks. We started wearing these tracks out. What did the guy tell us? Like 300 hours, around 300 hours?
Yes.
And we're on our first set of tracks at 600 hours. We've never replaced them. So, that could have something to do with it. But the tracks kept coming off. We were on rough ground, and so we were continuously having to put the tracks back on. So I'd say there are a couple cons. The ones that we could find would be the weight that it carries, the comfortableness of actually when operating the machine for long periods of time, and then thirdly is the tracks. That's one downfall we found with it. But if we put a new set of tracks on it, the first 200-300 hours we didn't have any issues. So that's a good thing. All right, here we go. In closing, I want to leave you with a little bit of information that's very specific in the purchasing of this machine. I went to the expo in Louisville and I actually demoed every machine that was there in this series. So anything that was a mini skid steer, I tried them all out. And then when I got back, I had went to a garden show where I met with the rep of Ditch Witch of Arkansas, located in Benton. And what I did is I reached out to him. We did a month rental on this machine. It's very important. You want to rent the machine before you buy it. It's like a try before you buy. And so we rented this machine for a month. And so he brought us out a new unit. We did that month rental on it. And that's where we had, timed how quick we were being with it, how much we could actually save on our labor. The great thing about this machine is it's going to show up on time every single morning. It's going to give me 110% all day long. And I don't have to worry about it calling in sick. Great thing about it. But all seriousness, It is truly a lifesaver. It's not for your big landscape jobs, so don't think that I'm trying to sell you it's a one machine solve all. This is great for your small landscape projects. Going in and putting out half a pallet of sod, a couple of pallets of sod, putting in, a sprinkler system, doing your small tight projects. This thing that's saved us here is we can get into virtually any space. Anywhere that's got a 4-foot gate, we're able to come in and squeeze into it and operate in the backyard. So that's what's really helped us here, is how compact it is, how much power it does have for a small machine, and then also how much it saves us day in and day out on the job sites. Another thing when you're doing this rental that helped us out was that we were able to spend a month behind it, a day, a couple hours, even a week. I don't feel like it's enough. I tried out renting some other machines earlier in the year and I really liked them. But until I spent a lot of time with this machine, something very specific was in the tracks, they've got to stay greased to a certain element. Well, Ditch Witch has a gauge that they use to actually tell you where it is that the tracks need to be at. So what you have is a gauge that's like this, and what it does is it hooks to the tracks and it tells you that green is good, red is over pressure, white is below pressure, and that way, as long as you keep it in the green, your tracks won't come off and everything will operate the way it is without ruining any spindles or gears. And so that's, a great tool. The rest of them say, oh, we just make sure that this tight, or you've got to take a tape measure and measure, how tight that is that you have them. It's a money saver because it's a time saver. The second thing, very specifically about this machine, is the joysticks on it. It's got 2 joysticks that help you in maneuvering it, and then it's also got a single joystick for the bucket. And so what we like about that is it helps us to be able to move a lot in tight spaces a lot better. That's a feature that was different than the ones that we had demoed and rented previously. We came in and we put in aftermarket a light bar so that way we could work late in the evenings, early in the mornings when loading the trucks, that we'd have some type of light on the machine. That's one thing that I do recommend that you do, but have a professional install it, or definitely do your research on how to do it. I think the first initial time we put it in, we'd blown a fuse and we couldn't figure out how to get it hooked up right, and then we had to come back in and re-hook it up. Typically when I go to purchase equipment, I like to find that 0% interest when I'm going to purchase something. That's not something that was available when purchasing this unit, but I was able to get it at a low enough interest rate and add some different features to it, the high flow auxiliary and different things, that it made it justifiable. And so when I did the math on it and I was going to have a payment, I think that this machine right here runs us about just shy of $800 a month, because I did I think it was I did a 36 month loan on it. And so that runs us, just shy of $800 a month. And great thing about it is I figured on average of just my, labor hand that was gonna be 2 weeks worth of labor, 2 weeks worth of labor in the summertime. This machine is going to perform for the entire month, every single day. So I am basically making my investment back on it each month. So that just put me straight into the profit margins. After having this for a year and a half, I'm already looking at if and when I'm going to purchase my next. The if is absolutely, but the questionable thing is the when. Put this into perspective. I have a skid steer, a tractor, a mini excavator, and a mini skid steer. This mini skid steer is used probably 3 times more than those other pieces of equipment. It is literally used on a daily basis. Those other machines may go to a job site 1 or 2 days a week and then sit. My tractor, it's been down for the last 2 months. We've been operating without it. My skid steer will get used 2 or 3 days a week and then it'll sit. This machine gets used every day. The compactness of it and the attachments that you choose are going to depend on whether or not you can replace a hand with it. So think those things through very thoroughly and make sure you don't spend money that you don't need to spend on attachments. I think that a lot of the rental places will have attachments that you'll be able to rent as well. So go out and try out the machines, do some demos on them, go to the show in Louisville, hit up your local rep, do your research. Try all the machines out. Just because this one is the best one for me, it may not be the best one for you. But I'm telling you, you will not regret purchasing a mini skid steer if you are in the landscape industry, especially if you do some smaller projects in some tight areas.